Good afternoon and welcome. It could be morning if you're in Queensland because we're on daylight savings time now. Welcome to the Spiritual Wisdom Hour with Victoria Cochrane. Here we are on another Wednesday, first week of daylight savings, and I have to say, really happy about that. Yay! But hope you're all well. Welcome to my Spiritual Wisdom Hour. And I'm Victoria Cochrane. I live on the northwest coast of Tasmania. I am a psychic channel, advanced theta healing practitioner, a medium, an author, a spiritual teacher. In this hour, I talk about all things to do with spiritual development, psychic development, but I don't do individual readings because it's too draining and it just doesn't help the collective. So I do collective readings. So there are a lot of people struggling to find their purpose and their place at the moment. So if you have any questions about that could help you, but also the collective, please do ask your questions, because the interactiveness of this hour helps to find the direction of it, and also helps people to answer questions that might have been bugging them for a while. And it's about empowering. Hello, beautiful Melissa. I hope you're well. Really good to see you on here. It's great to see new people coming on, but also regular visitors to this hour coming on as well. I've got this on the side so that I don't block the sound, because I can't find my tripod. So I'm using a little kind of picture frame doobie to hold up my phone. So yeah, so let me know how you're going, questions about development or anything like that. But I'm sorry I can't answer personal questions. But if you would like a reading, by all means contact me. Hi Joan. Through my page, Reaching Out Spiritual News. Donna, great to see you. Great to have you back. Or just jump on. I've got podcasts out now. Hi Janelle. And Janelle left me a lovely comment about the podcasts where I tell my story. And it's only been 11 years since I've had these gifts. So hopefully that can give a lot of hope to people, that if you are awakening, that it's happening for a lot of people, and it happened to me, and gifts came out of nowhere. And so it's been a wonderful journey, and I love to share it with others. Cards I'm using today are Earth Power Oracle cards, and I find these really empowering and really enlightening for people who are not sure if they're on the right path or not. So if your question is generally around, am I on the right path, this is definitely for you. They're by Stacey DeMarco, and I love them. So I'm going to choose one, and then we'll go from there. Oh, I can never read the name because it's place names of places around the world. Fushi Minari Grand Shrine. Here's the picture. You can see it's kind of going through a tunnel. The words are, I nourish myself, and I am open and completely abundant. I am fertile in every way. I am joyful and happy. Okay, so if you're not ready to have another baby, it doesn't mean that. It means it's a bit like the Empress card coming out. It's birthing new conditions and being ready to embrace new challenges and make the changes in your life that you need to open up new pathways. So I just let you have a look at this again, and I'll read it again. I nourish myself, and I am open and completely abundant. So nourishing is not just about, let's break it down. Literacy teacher, sorry, can't help it. Hi Barbara, great to see you. I nourish myself. What does that mean? So yes, we eat, we drink, but do we nourish ourselves with loving ourselves? Do we give ourselves enough time to ground and to feel ourselves in the space? Do we actually eat well? Do we eat the right things, or do we just grab and go? Do we allow ourselves to receive as well as give? Do we put our foot down to people who just drain our energy? Do we balance our life out between work and play? All of these things. Just concentrate on that little bit. Hello, Cheryl. It's so great to see all these people jumping on and saying hello, people that have been on before. Fantastic. Welcome if you're new as well. So do you really nourish yourself? Okay. Not normally doing individual readings, but I will pop in and have a look in a minute because, hi Roxy, great to see you. Because spirits in the house is something that you can deal with, and I like to empower people to do that. Sometimes the spirit in the house is someone that you know, but sometimes they're not. They just like it there. So can I come back to that though? Because I'm in the middle of this, and then I'll just talk about spirits and how we can remove them. Okay, so I nourish myself. So do you really nourish yourself? And it's not just about eating and drinking, but do you actually give yourself credence for all the things that you've done? Do you look at all the bad things that have happened and just focus on the negatives, or do you actually applaud the accomplishments, the good things that you're doing, the way you're helping your children and your family? All those things are about nourishment. So look, there's a lot of red in this, and nourishment, I think, comes from the base chakra of actually really grounding into yourself and actually accepting yourself. And it does link to the orange sacral chakra, but it is about really accepting yourself and being in your I am. Thanks, Barbara. So I am open. I am open. What does that mean? So if we broke it down to I am open, what does that mean to you? Does it mean that you're open to new things? Are you open to new challenges and to what the universe is offering you? Because it's followed by I'm completely abundant. So are you open, or are you a bit fixed in the way you perceive the world and think about what's available to you and what's not? And it's so easy to get stuck in the physical and to just think that what we have is all that's available and that's all there is. But it's not. It's as simple as looking at a glass half full or a glass half empty. What's the way? Hi, Leanne. How are you? And Leanne, Barbara's asked about a spirit in her house, so you might be able to talk about what happened. We had big chat about that about 3 weeks ago, and your son had big spirit in his house. Did the techniques work? We can talk about that. Vicky, haven't seen you for a while. I hope you're really well. Great to see you on board. And Lorraine, great to see you. So when you believe you're abundant, when you believe that the universe will deliver, then it will. If you believe it won't, it won't. So what we believe we create, and I know I say this just about every week, but it's so true. It's just, are we open to the fact that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and that we are all connected, and that we're connected to the all, and that the gifts of the universe are available in abundant supply? There's a card. I'm just going to do a dive to my basket, which I won't show you because it's really just a jumble of cards and things that I carry to and from my room, which I only got back from at about 11:45 in Wynyard. But now I'm shuffling and I actually want to find a particular card. But it says infinite supply. I am supplied for today, tomorrow, and forever. And it's so true that we are always supplied with everything that we need. Now, of course, I won't be able to find it. but we are. We just have to be open to that. So I nourish myself. I am open and completely abundant. I am fertile in every way. So are you able to embrace change and to change your thinking, to change your reality, and to bring in new conditions for new growth? I am joyful and happy. If you're not hi Beck. If you're not joyful and happy, why? So happiness comes from within, and there are a lot of people who look to other people to make them happy and need to be in a relationship to make sure that they're feeling validated. But the only person that can really validate you is you. And if you don't, or if you can't, then that's a self-love thing. It's about looking at the deep reasons why you might not love and accept yourself and what you can do to change that. And if you're really not joyful, if you're just dragging yourself through every day, only you can change that too. I had a client come in today and he's just waiting for things to happen, and I know they will for him too, but in a lot of ways you've got to take charge of that. And yeah, I am open to receiving, and that's a great affirmation to have around the house. I'm open to receiving. I'm open to the abundance of the universe. Thank you for my abundance. I am so grateful. And I do find something to be grateful for every day. And I'm just loving my life right now. I'm just so grateful for everything that comes my way, and for the connections I'm making, and for everything that's happening. And so far so good. I'm really, really reaping the rewards for that. So that's a really important card, I think, to consider. Are we going into a tunnel? Yes, we're going into the unknown. If you look at that, we are. Or are we coming out into the light and actually embracing what we find out there? We can look at it either way. And life is like that, you know. You can think of Forrest Gump. My mum always said that life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And that's so true, but in a way we do choose. We have chosen a lot of what we're learning, and we can choose to actually change that direction. So that's food for thought. Now back to Barbara, who's got a spirit lurking in the house. And Leanne Lulu had that experience a few weeks ago, and I did write down a heap of suggestions and emailed them out to people who wanted that. So I can do that for you too, Barbara, if you put your email address up or inbox it to me. I get a feeling it's male. Drawn to the pets or the children, or both. And if you have neither, then I don't know, but it feels likes the energy of the pets and the children. Certainly not dangerous, but there's a few things you can do. Some people like the spirits that are around in their house. They kind of just like them there. But generally, the thing about a spirit or a ghost is that they're trapped. They're trapped between the earthly world and the spirit world. And so sometimes you can see them, or you can certainly feel them. And they're kind of, if they died in the house, they'd be trapped in the house, or they might have just wandered in there and just found that they like it and then just stay there. So you can certainly offer them soul release, and I can send in Archangel Michael now. And if you do think you have a spirit in the house, just openly, you don't have to write it up, just be open to it, and I'll ask Archangel Michael to go to anybody's house who's got a spirit lurking. Why are they trapped? Well, they can be trapped by it for a lot of reasons. If they die suddenly, they don't know they've died. But also spirits can get trapped by human grief. So, you know, I always say when people die, it's not hard for them, it's hard for the people who've left behind. And grief can actually really hold a spirit to in between worlds. And I'm not blaming anyone. That's just the way it is. They can be trapped because they don't want to go because they're worried about their family, or something was terribly wrong before they did die. If they were murdered, then they can hang behind and try to solve it, or try to get people to help them solve it. Your father and your ex has passed. Yeah, generally they can be in the house. So acknowledgement is something that spirits like. If you feel that it's your father or your ex, you can say, I acknowledge that you're here, thank you for being here, but please go to the light now. And then quite often that's enough and they'll just go. It is a male and it's a younger male, so I don't know, Barbara, but definitely just talk to them and ask them to go. And if not, then you can call on Archangel Michael to offer them soul release. You see, we all have free will, but once we die, we still have free will, and so they can choose not to go. And if they're causing havoc, then that's annoying. So then you can force them to go by saying, go to the light 3 times, so the power of 3, or in the name of Jesus, they have to go. So there are lots of different ways to do that. You can sage your house and all the rest, but I do feel like they're, I'm not sure that they're family, but he's happy in the familiarity. But still, it's a bit kind of unnerving, isn't it, to wake up in the middle of the night and feel like you're being watched, or just to feel that someone's in the house. In the place that I work in, Launceston, yesterday I did feel, I can be I'm very good at blocking off. So unless a spirit wants me to know, there you go. So it's possibly your brother then. Does look quite young. And acknowledge that he's there, and tell him that you love him, and then tell him that it's okay to go, and he probably will. Yeah, you're welcome. Because it helps other people. This kind of thing really helps. I could be really there could be 20 spirits flying around the house and I might not know because I'm pretty good at blocking it off, unless they jump on me and want me to know. But yesterday I went up the stairs and I just felt uncomfortable, and I thought, I don't know. And then a client of another of the practitioners had felt that there was something in there, and so I did check, and there were 2 spirits in there. So sent them off. Generally, calling in Archangel Michael's enough, and he'll escort them lovingly up to the light and let them go. It was a bit of an uneasy feeling. So you can certainly get a bit of an uneasy feeling. You can sometimes see them. Something might move, or you might get something out of the corner of your eye. A lot of people say, I don't want to upset the spirits, I don't want to send them off because they'll get angry. Take charge, I also have my father's ashes in the house. Should I move them? It's possibly a draw to, very interesting. So, also have my father's ashes in the house. Yes, it could be keeping them anchored there. I know a beautiful friend whose daughter died at a young age, and they scattered her ashes in the garden, I think, or they planted a rose or something, and they often see the little girl running through the house, but she's also an angel. That's the story of Alira. That's Alyssa and Alira, if anyone's listened to that story. So I know she's passed over, but they still get the essence of little Alyssa sometimes perfectly okay, like they're really happy with that, and she's still moved over, but she's just there to let them know that she's okay. So it's up to you. I'm actually not seeing that it's your father. Could be wrong there, but it looks younger. It's up to you. Renee, who lost her mother, had a little pendant, and she's just got a little pinch of ashes in the pendant. And that's perfectly okay, and she doesn't feel her mother around all the time. So it's up to you. But if you're really in grief and you just can't let them go, then it's something to work on, because once we pass over, our soul keeps moving on, and if we've got fragments still anchored down to earth, it's very hard to move on. Oh, absolute pleasure. I love doing this. So it's a really good thing to try and let go, as hard as it is. But, I can't preach on that because I, touch wood, have not had that experience. Yeah, and so I was talking comforting. Yeah, it would be comforting to know that she's running around the house and that her spirit is okay. You might, Melissa, just want to talk to her and just make sure that she's also passed over and that she's happy and moving on in spirit as well. But yeah, that's lovely to know that you can feel her around. Tragedy can really keep the soul and spirit grounded to earth, and it can really keep them stuck and also holding the trauma of the tragedy. And there's a lot of work that I do in lifting trauma from souls who haven't passed on, but also from people who still are having trouble in their lives, and it can be linked back to that trauma, like getting killed in war or something, and just or getting hung around the neck and always just having trouble with the neck, So there's a lot of work that can be done. So Joan, if you think there is, you could just call in Archangel Michael and Jesus to help the spirit of the young boy to be taken to the light, but also to be healed, to receive spiritual healing, to remove the trauma of his tragedy and his tragic death, to allow him to move on. Very important, because if we're stuck for eons haunting a house, then we're not actually moving on to achieve mastery and spiritual development. So yeah, you're welcome. Pleasure. So I kind of feel that, I wonder if your daughter's an angel too, Melissa. We could look into that sometime, because Alyssa showed me herself as Alira the angel straight away. So quite often, and the other thing that I've been told, if it's not too upsetting to talk about, wow, well, you probably just want to keep him then, Joan. But you could offer him soul release and just see if he wants to take it, but tell him that it's up to him, and that, whatever he chooses to do is fine by you. What was I going to say? Oh, it's gone out of my head now. But we can choose to stay for a long time, or we can just have very short life contracts where, because if our soul is on a big learning journey, then we might just come in to learn one lesson and then not need to stay anymore. And so we can die really early, because the spiritual growth towards mastery is the most important thing. But dying as a child is very upsetting for the family. So yeah, that's fine. I keep seeing repetitive numbers constantly all the time, like someone is trying to tell me something. Any insights? Yes, definitely. I do have something saved on my computer that talks about the different numbers and what they mean, and they certainly are a message. There's they also have you can look up angel numbers. My favorite one is Joanna Sacred Scribe, and she has every single number up to like over 1,000. And so but I do know that if you see numbers constantly, it's a message to you of some kind. And so, but there are so many. 111 is usually you're on the right path. 222 is changes for the better, I think. 3 and 4, 3 is from the masters, 4 is from the angels, 5 is change and complete kind of turmoil. So yeah, but look up Joanna Sacred Scribe, angel numbers on the internet. She's brilliant. I used to feel my mother around me because she died at 25 years of age. Truck hit her on the road. Awful. Thank you for that, whoever put that up. After I wrote her story and found out why and how she died, I felt so much peace. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 25 is really young, isn't it? And who knows? I mean, sometimes we choose that, but other times we don't. It's just, you know, it happens. There's also, I also seen this. Do you have any further insight? Not really. It wasn't something that I was planning to do, was to tune in on people's spirits, but I can ask. What the heck? He's certainly right behind you. Look, I get a name, but I have to. We all have our gifts, and names is not one of mine. But I get David, so I don't know if that's his name or not. He's not related to you, but he's from the vicinity. Pretty sure he had some kind of accident. But also I don't think that he was particularly loved. So the love and light in your family home is what draws him. To be honest, the best, I go with Victoria now, not Vicky. Sorry, I used to call myself Vicky. There's a whole story to that. Or Tor. You can call me Tor or Victoria, but yeah, I've gone past the Vicky stage. You're welcome for that too. The best thing is to release them into the light. Otherwise, staying stuck doesn't get them anywhere in terms of soul involvement and growth. So even though it's nice to have them around, but once they release, they can come back, and then they're free to go up and down. So release them, and then they can come back and run around the house like Melissa's little girl. So, that's really nice. Yeah, see, when Vicky met me, I was Vicky, but I'm not now. Isn't that funny? Yeah, okay. Any more questions, or will I just draw some more cards? But it's very interesting. This whole soul family thing is really interesting because we do move around in soul families, and we might not meet one of our soul family till we're in our 50s, 60s, or 70s, but people just come in at the right time to help us back on the path, or we will have agreed to have meet or to come in just at the right time when they're needed. So generally we can marry into soul families and all that kind of thing. But if you feel nothing alike, it might be that you've brought someone in from outside so that you can learn new lessons. I tell you what though, lately I've been cutting a lot of soul contracts of people stuck in cycles of learning that they don't need anymore, and just not being able to move forward in their love life or anything, or in their personal life, because they're just repeating the same cycle over and over and over. Oh, thank you, Barbara. Thank you. Yeah, you can look me up on victoriacochrane.com or Reaching Out Spiritual News, and I put out a newsletter and everything, so yeah, stay in touch. Thank you. yeah, so apparently we move around in soul families, and we do help each other learn lessons towards soul evolvement and growth. But on the way, we can attract karma and have karmic ties with people, and we can also lose our way. We can have karma inflicted upon us. All sorts of things can happen, and we can kind of get stuck in cycles that just keep going over and over and over. Trauma can also keep that us stuck too. So when I'm doing a healing now, I will be asking for limiting beliefs that we bring in, that I can talk about later, to be changed. But I also ask it for any karmic ties that can be resolved and cut, and for any contracts of learning that we no longer need to be, for their lessons to be resolved, for the contracts to be dissolved and sent to the light, but for the beings of light who are holding us to those contracts to be released too. And so the beings of light come in and they hold us to those contracts because that's what we've asked them to do until we learn the lesson. But sometimes we've learnt the lesson 3 times over already and we're still in it and we don't need it anymore. And it has made a big difference to a lot of people to actually release those contracts and to move them on. So it's always a good thing. I don't know if I've taught you the muscle testing that I use, which is you can use the pendulum, but you can say yes, this is my yes, no. I do it this way actually. And so am I still held in contracts of learning around relationships? And if it's a no, well, that's great. But if you're having trouble in a relationship and it's a yes, then it might be good to look at what that contract might be. And it's always a lesson around learning about unconditional love, or standing in your power, or not allowing people to judge you, or those conceptual kinds of things that are, or learning kind of virtues, aspects or virtues that will help your soul to develop and your consciousness to rise towards ascension. So if you're really stuck, that's somewhere to look anyway. And also just to look for any karmic ties that you might have, because they're not doing us any good. They can keep us really stuck. Okay, let's do another Earth Power Oracle card. I spoke his name out loud and asked, was there an accident? As soon as I did, my whole body shivered like I felt something rub up my back. Shivers and goosebumps I like, because that's real confirmation that that's true. You're welcome, Crystal. Great to hear from you. It's a very involved topic of soul families, and actually I wonder, where did I put them? Here they are. So this is Scripting Your Destiny that Ronna Herman has written. It's Archangel Michael's work, but Ronna Herman, Vise now, she is the sacred scribe. But if you look here at her, wow, well, there you go. It was confirmation. And so if he's going to talk to you that way, Joan, then you can actually, should I leave him or send him on his way? Ask him. I think you ask him, would he like soul release? And that he's welcome to come back any time. And call in Archangel Michael and Jesus. They're the best guides. But, or his mother, or ask him, who he would like to bring in to help him to pass over. It's the best thing for him is to pass over. He can always come back and say hello. But yeah, okay. Yeah, but you ask him, because he might want to go, just not know how to. So getting back to soul families, here's our I Am Divine Presence, Christ Self, our over soul. And then we've got all our soul fragments of life on earth and all the lifetimes we've lived. Sorry, I need to hold it up so you can see that. And then we've got our soul family down here. So human sparks of consciousness through individual souls. And so we all spark off to have our experiences, but we get back in the afterlife to review our life. I will answer that question in a sec, Joan. To review our lifetimes and to talk about the karma that we've accrued and how that might be replayed and how we can help each other through the next stages of our soul journey and the lessons that we need to learn. And then we come back until all our lessons are learned. And when we achieve mastery, we might still choose to come back just to help other people to do that. How will you know? Well, pleasure. So let's just, you can just connect to him and just say that you love having him here, but if he hasn't passed over, you're offering him soul release, calling Archangel Michael to take him to the light, help him to pass over, and just to give you a sign that that's what he wants. If he doesn't want it, then you can't force him to go, and I wouldn't force him to go because he's not causing you any trouble. But every now and again you might just ask him, because it is better for his soul journey for him to pass into the light. But you might get a flickering of light or the bubbles that you got before, or it might just feel different. Quite often it will just feel different. Yeah, so leaving that up to you. So our soul family are our sparks of souls, and we have fragmented our souls over eons, and we're coming back. Keeps shivers. Okay, all right, let's help Joan. All right, calling in Archangel Michael and Jesus to offer the spirit that I call David to be released into the light, to allow his soul to continue on its onward soul journey towards mastery and involvement, knowing that he's free to come back and visit Joan at every time, and thanking him for his presence, but telling him that it's best for him to move on. And Archangel Michael says he's going, but he says he will be back. It's like he's leaving a trail just to allow him to find his way back. And released. Yeah, how beautiful. It's the best gift we can give them, actually. I've got quite a few stories. If we want to trade ghost stories. I was sitting on the toilet in the BP service station in Hobart on the way back after a big day, having driven down from Launceston and going back again, a bit brain dead, and could hear this, and of course it took about 30 seconds for me to register that was a noise going on in the toilet with me, and looked over, and the sanitary bin lid was just going up and down on its own. You felt all that. Does it feel peaceful now? Does it feel okay now? I felt a bit of a relief actually after pleasure. It's wonderful to be, that's a lot of the work that we do, is to help people to pass over, or to souls to pass over, and that's good. That's good. Excellent. Pleasure. Pleasure. Anyway, this little old lady was playing around with a ghost lady that I couldn't see with my naked eye, but I could see with my third eye. Yeah, love and light to David. Been a long time trap, 25 years. To him it would be that, time in the spirit world is like nothing. 1,000 years can go past and you just wouldn't even know. Hi Angie, I was going to message you this morning and just see how you are. I haven't heard from you for a little while. So send me a message and tell me what's happening. Hope you're okay. Anyway, when this noise was going on, Liz, I'm like, that's a bit unusual. Wasn't frightened, but saw this little old lady. So I brought in Archangel Michael and she didn't even know. She was just taken to the light and off she went. So quite often they don't know that they're trapped and it feels nice. The most amazing story I've had was when I had a really sore neck and I could not get rid of it, and it was just killing me, and I had massage after massage and I couldn't get rid of it, but I could also smell this urine smell, and I'm like, after it was like 3 months or so, and I'm like, do I really smell like that? Like, honestly, it was like it was a toilety smell. And so my beautiful friend Lynn came round one day, and she's really quite psychic, and I said, can you just see what on earth is going on? She said, there's a little girl clinging to your neck. And anyway, she said, I don't want to go, I love it. And she meant me, she loved me, and she was clinging to my light. And anyway, we called in Jesus and Archangel Michael and Raphael, I think, and we took her to the light and sent her off. She was about 9, but she seemed like she was about 3, like she was tiny. So then I Googled, what would we do without Google? But I Googled children who'd been malnourished, and there was a case in New South Wales of a little girl who was severely neglected, died in her own urine and feces, and that's what I could smell. And so I called her Teresa, but that wasn't her name. And I wrote an article releasing Teresa, and I just republished it the last couple of newsletters ago. And Lynn was in tears, and it was incredibly moving, but it was also wonderful to know that she'd found a safe haven in me, and the only way I could know really was the smell and see. To do healing on myself, I find that difficult. It was good to have someone else who could see it. And together we released this little soul into the light. And otherwise she would have been stuck in that trauma. I think I did make sure that the trauma was lifted for her at the same time. But otherwise she would have been stuck. And can you see, it's not a good energy for them to be stuck in that. Or for David to be stuck, even though he loved being in the house, to have died tragically and be stuck there. It's much better for them to be released, even if they don't think they need to be. They're much better off going to the light. But the neck still took ages to heal after that. Poor little cherub. Oh, it was. The story was horrendous. How people can but that is a lesson, I guess. But gee, poor little thing. So I was grateful that she'd found me and that eventually we were able to help her. So, and I do know of other stories like that too, where they just cling until someone helps them to release. Yeah, so dear oh dear. So love and cherish our children, because they're so important, aren't they? And particularly for people who've lost children, I send you love and blessings, and just ask that they're all sent to the light and passed over. And quite often, if someone does lose someone, I will say, I'll just check to make sure that they're passed over and that their soul is on their way and that they're at peace. And that's really important. That's the biggest gift you can give them. I've picked up the Goddess cards for some reason, so I'm just going to do a collective reading for you from the Goddess cards. But I was actually, I don't know, I'm all over the place like a mad woman's knitting. I'll just do one of these earth powers. I might do an earth power card and then put a Goddess card out and an angel card out to clarify them. Machu Picchu, I am nourished. Nourished is the theme of the day, isn't it? Now I've got to find that card we had before. So before I pulled out Fushimi Fushimi Inari Grand Shrine, I nourish myself. And now this one says, I am nourished in both body and mind. So we're being told that this is the most important thing to do. How do we nourish ourselves in body and mind? Anyone got the answer to that? I don't want to be I'm not the sage of all wisdom. I'm sure everybody's got stories of how they managed to do it. I can see my part in the wider universe. I reap what I sow. And I only said that to a client this morning. I'm nourished in both body and mind. So do we allow ourselves time to meditate? I was only thinking that last night. I'm not meditating enough. But then Archangel Michael said, you're a living meditation. And I thought, that's beautiful, thank you. But when I'm always connecting and I'm always being grateful and I'm always mindful of my thoughts, and so I guess I am. Meditation, pray, send love, beautiful. And that's a beautiful way to nourish your body and your mind. I do a meditation session for a weight loss group on a Thursday night, and I always help them to just, release the day and to actually just breathe, because breath is sacred. All elements are sacred because life is sacred. So it's breathing the sacred air in and actually allowing our bodies to relax and just giving ourselves time to bring ourselves back into us. And perhaps we can do that now as the meditation, because it helps to relax the mind. And Archangel Michael says in here, lots of water, absolutely. A relaxed mind leads to a relaxed body, and I suppose vice versa. Oh, what, the weight loss group? It's TJM, Mindset and Weight Loss, the Jowett Method. So it's Jeff Jowett, Jeff with a G, and he's up in Sydney. And so he's online every morning and every night, coaching and meditating. He was the one who started Body Trim. But the thing with Body Trim was that it didn't teach the mindset. And so he's got me on doing meditation. I actually lost 11 kilos with TJM. I've put a little bit back on, but I'm actually really happy. I'm a size 12 and I'm actually quite comfy and not bursting the buttons, so that's all good. But it really works because it's a tribe. So you're in a tribe. It's about 200 people in the tribe, and they all message each other. They go on walk and talks on Saturdays in different cities. When I was in Melbourne, I got together with a couple of them. Very supportive, fantastic. And it's protein, salad, vegetables, water, no carbs or very limited carbs, no fruit. So I take Juice Plus now because I rarely eat fruit, but I get my fruit through the capsules. So, yeah, brilliant, TJM. And so I'm on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock running meditations. And if you can't be on at 7, then people jump on later and catch up like you do with this. And so many people say they just benefit so much from it, of just being and I do basic stuff of just breathing down into our bodies, grounding, and just using the breath to relax and to clear the mind and to bring ourselves back to us. And so once your mind is calmer, then you're not worrying so much about everything. And it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. It's a plan, like it's a whole a new way of eating. I mean, I don't eat so much protein now because it's great for weight loss, but I don't stick to it rigidly because it's not great for the kidneys. But when you're losing weight, it's the protein. So for women, it's 100 grams of protein, but it also resets your metabolism, Melissa, because it's 3 meals and 3 snacks. So you have breakfast, then you have a 50-gram protein snack, then you have lunch, which is protein, salad, vegetables, water, and then you have a protein snack, and then you have dinner, and then at 9 o'clock you have a protein snack. And so I was never really hungry. on Tuesday nights, Sarah Ivy French does Nourished, and she talks about all the different foods you can eat and different ways of. It's brilliant. I think you would love it. I think it's like $70 a month. It's really cheap, and it's really supportive. So I hope to see you on there soon when I do my meditations on a Thursday night. So it's on Facebook. Just go onto TJM Mindset and Meditation. Get onto it. Tell Jeff that Victoria sent you. And not that I benefited, not, but just, yeah, it's awesome. So where was I? Let's do this little meditation then to reset our mindset. Quite often I'll do little meditations just to get out of the mind and to lock things away, and, and it's good for me because I get to meditate too, and also the interactions, like here, the interactions with you guys. I get the interactions with the tribe there, so it's really great. So before you meditate, before you do any kind of psychic or spiritual work, always make sure you're hydrated, and you can check, do your muscle testing. I am hydrated enough, and that's a yes. Or use your body pendulum, stand up, and if you fall forward, that's a yes. If you fall backwards, that's a no. You can actually put your hands on your kidneys and just you can hydrate them that way. Just ask for them to hydrate you. And then this is what I do, just 5 minutes. And I teach little tricks of how to ground and come back and just be rejuvenated when you've only got 5 minutes. If you've got young kids, that's quite often. So being present in the chair, taking a few breaths in and out, and relaxing your shoulders. I bring my shoulders up and down as I breathe, feeling your feet grounded on the floor. And I like to gather my energy in my heart space, but you might like to bring it from your crown, whatever works. Take a breath and just push your energy all the way down to your base chakra and collapse your body and really feel it. I think I'm losing my thing. Really feel your body just relax down to your base chakra. Breathe right out till your lungs are empty. Take another breath and take your energy all the way down now, through your legs, through your feet. Ground right down into Mother Earth. Grounding is so important, just actually being in our body and feeling here and present. So many of us work from the heart chakra up and we forget about the rest of us. And then just feel little light roots coming out, and then when you feel grounded, secure, breathe your energy back up. So using the breath, imagine 2 light streams coming up and then joining at your base chakra. Breathe out, relax into the chair as you do. And then breathe the energy back up. And then all the way down to your sacral or solar plexus chakras. Push your abdomen out. And now just get a nice rhythm going of breathe in and breathe out. And just see a nice infinity symbol. Breathe in, breathe out. And I like to get it to a slow count of 4 in, 4 out. You can watch my hand as you breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Get a bit slower until it's about 6 in, 6 out. But always, and so take your hand and your focus down to your solar plexus, because when you're sitting in there, You're pushing your energy right down, and it's just really relaxing. And if you're focusing on the infinity symbol and counting your breath in and out, not really thinking about anything else. Breathe in, breathe out. And when you breathe out, push your energy right down. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And so by the time you do that, it's kind of, feel a bit floppy-fied. But then you can bring yourself back by counting backwards from 10, 9, 8, and just imagine a ball of light just coming right back up to your crown. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's all you need to do. And you can actually literally breathe down, breathe up, breathe, and then just hold it there. And it's very energizing and also relaxing. So get amongst it. Do a bit of breathing. We don't actually breathe well anyway. We mostly shallow breathe. I catch myself shallow breathing all the time. So, okay. Let's pull out Goddess cards. So this was about nourishing our body and mind. And then Green Tara says, start delegating. How much are you carrying and how much are you doing? And how easy is it for us just to do it all as a mother? Oh, good. Excellent. But sometimes we just need to get the kids to pick up their own towels and get the husband to, unstack the dishwasher and all of that kind of stuff. Instead of, I said to my son the other day, bless him, because he's only staying for a little while, I'm not the maid. You can do that. So ask others, including me, to help you instead of trying to do everything yourself. And that's part of nourishing ourselves, isn't it? To actually ask for help and to get help. And if you're saying, I'm not good at asking for help, we'll change that. I'm working on being better at asking for help. I'm going to start asking for help and not doing everything myself. And then this one was, I am fertile in every way. I love the synchronicity of my cards. Ostara, fertility. There we go. Time to birth new conditions. It's the perfect time for you to start new projects, access new ideas, and give birth to new conditions. So when we feel nourished, when we feel happy, when we're relaxed, when we're in a better frame of mind, then we will feel more like changing things and bringing in new ideas and starting new projects. And it is spring. Actually, it's the second month of spring. So spring has definitely sprung, and it is the perfect card. And it's purple. Purple is the highest healing colour. But it's the perfect time now for getting out and having a spring clean, but not just of the house, of our mind, of our body, all of that kind of thing. And the last one, another perfect card, Crystal, purification. So what do we need to detox? What do we need to detox in our life? It's time for a cleansing, detoxification of your body and mind. And it's not just, drinking less wine or eating less chips. It's also about making sure that we're checking our thoughts and changing negatives to positives, and to actually start to think about what it is that's holding us back, and what we're doing to self-sabotage ourselves and to change that. And the chakra clearing, doing lots of chakra clearing. But when we're breathing, when we're grounding and doing what we did before, you're activating all your chakras, and when you're breathing, you're releasing toxins and all sorts of things. So it's a good time. But if you also look at this, water is emotions. So what emotional healing do you need? what do you need to let go of in order for your mind and your emotions to actually be calmer, less anxious, and less burdened. Loving those cards. So one more of the Earth Power Oracle that seems to be giving us a lovely theme for today. And it is Tana Lot. The places in between are important for my growth. I can release myself from worry and suffering if I choose. I now let go of all that no longer serves me. And doesn't that go with Coventina purification beautifully? What are you choosing to hang on to? What can you choose to let go of? And the in-between times. We just had an in-between time where we just took the time to breathe our energy down and just be in ourselves. Just to be. And I love that. And then and the shadows of the past can go and just bring in new growth. So, wow, everybody, thanks so much for today. I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. I just loving your interactions and hoping that you're all that you've all got something out of it. And that weight loss group, if you are interested, TJM, there are a few, but TJM, Mindset and Weight Loss, worked for me. And I don't get paid or anything to do the meditations. I just do it because I enjoy doing it, and the tribe is an important connection for me. And I love that they love it. So, you know, if that's something that you think that might work for you, look it up. Otherwise, you can look me up. I'm victoriacochran.com, Reaching Out Spiritual News, and I would love to hear from you. And I really look forward to connecting with you all again next week on the Spiritual Wisdom Hour, Wednesday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Daylight Savings Time. You're welcome. Blessings and love to everyone. Bye.